give a bit of my educational background. I did my bachelor's in metallurgical and materials engineering from India. And later on, I decided to do my master's. So I went for my master's in Germany, in Darmstadt, in material science. And there I did a lot of different courses, but I was prominently working on aspects of physical metallurgy. So I tried to stick towards what my initial background was in bachelor's. And after finishing, so during my master's, I did quite a lot of internships to gain more industrial experience. So I went to a few different places in Germany and also in Belgium. And based on that, I gained some industrial experience and how the industries are working with respect to different, like in material systems and more towards metallurgy. And later on, then I decided to pursue a PhD because I was more interested in research. So I had an option to either go for industry, but then I switched for a doctoral position, and that I got it in Netherlands. And then so basically my PhD research is on understanding the microstructure evolution of tungsten under fusion conditions. And these conditions are very extreme because you have a combination of particle loads, which is the radiation loads, and you have heat loads also. And there my dominant background was in experimental stuff, but during my PhD, I came across numerical stuff also. So I also learned quite a lot of different numerical techniques, basically. So I was programming. So it was a mixture of experimental and numerical work, which I enjoyed a lot. And now I'm at a stage that I have to, at one part that I like is doing research, and so I'm now also inclined towards doing more numerical work because I enjoy that a lot. But at the same time, getting such a position where you have a combination of experiments and numerics is a bit difficult because most of the times I see that whenever you are applying that, they want someone who has a very specific profile, and it always gets a bit somehow that it comes across that you cannot explain yourself, that you have a combination of both, I think, which is very important to have. So you understand what the shortcomings are in experiments, and especially also in the numerics, actually.
What do you do in numerical simulation? Like what tools you use and all that?
So right now, the tools that I was using, which is a mesoscopic method based on rate theory for simulating the defect production and how the defects are clustering. So it's basically a diffusion reaction system, if you look into. And then it's just, I saw for spatial, if you look into spatial dimensions, then I solve it using finite difference. But of course, you can do it using finite element also.
So you use any package or like a?
So this was a code that I initially first started writing in MATLAB, but then because of computational issues, then I switched to C. Okay. And I use a solver from called Sundials from Livermore.
When you say you do experiments, what type of techniques you use, or what instruments do you use to characterize, or are you more on synthesis or more on characterization?
More on characterization.
So you use some sort of like a mechanical testing tools, or?
Mechanical testing and microstructural. So dominantly in my PhD, I used optical microscopy based standard, but use advanced CBSD analysis. So electron microscopy, and
you can run
also, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And in terms of mechanical testing, I had indentation, tensile compression.
Okay, got it. Okay, and so let's talk about what issues are you having. I have your questions also. I was reading those, but what especially that you have gone through, that the feedback that you have received, if you have any, or for that matter, what kind of you think you are having issues? And then
I somehow feel,
one thing I want to also talk about is you mentioned a lot about postdoc and postdoc. Is that what you want to do, postdoc, or you are looking at industry positions also within Europe? I mean,
So,
you mentioned like you don't have a
so
location preference here, but I'm assuming you are thinking of Europe, US, something like that, right?
yeah, so basically, so if I looked in terms of personal thing, first, if I look, so of course you want to settle down somewhere. So in that terms, I'm always on the verge of getting a PR in Netherlands because I lived there for so long now. But then it's also that the you have you want to do some kind of research that is more interesting to you, so you're passionate about something. So
But if
that is
you,
something.
but if isn't it in Europe, if you even get a PR, you can work anywhere in Europe, right? Because of the European Union.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not really sure about it. I think if you got PR, but then you have to be in a country for, you can stay outside the country for 6 months, but you have to come back.
No, like for
Or
example, if you have a Netherlands PR, you can't work in Germany.
I can work in Germany, but I still have to apply for it. But it's not clear to me if I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So I would say, I understand your situation now a little bit better. So, one of the thing I can tell you is, and I'm looking at your publications and also, so let's talk about what are the chances for you to come to US, getting a postdoc in US, and settle in US and all that. Let's talk about that particular point because and again, it's my opinion. So, just make sure that you can make your own decision. But one of the thing that may happen, since your lot of work is related to nuclear, it may pose some issue for you to come here.
yeah,
It may. It could
yeah,
be very small or it could be big. That I don't know, but it may. Okay, because it's a nuclear
yeah,
thing. You have done a lot of work on nuclear, so a lot of questions will arise with immigration and things like that. I know a lot of my friends who have, few of my friends who have done work in nuclear engineering, like a PhD,
yeah.
and then did postdoc also. So I would advise you do one thing, and I will send you a link also. Look for postdoc position in DOE websites in US, especially at Oak Ridge and
Mhm.
INL, Idaho National Lab. These two are the premier
Okay.
organizations that work in the area of nuclear engineering, and you will find there's a link, I send it to you, especially for postdoc positions, specifically in the area of nuclear materials. There's a branch actually in Oak Ridge
Yeah,
called Nuclear Structural Materials, and so I know that because I have done my postdoc at Oak Ridge, so I know that.
yeah,
Like, and I know like a lot of people in Oak Ridge come from outside. Not only that, the people who have done their PhD from US, but PhD from Europe, India, and everywhere.
yeah,
So you will find a lot of people there.
yeah,
So one of the
yeah.
things that you can do is look at a postdoc position, apply to it, or for that matter, go to the nuclear materials department in Oak Ridge or Idaho National Lab, and you can contact people there.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you will get some sort of a feedback. Again, I can't comment too much about your work, like for example, how amazing your work is and how forthcoming your work is and what is the demand of that work, because many times also that happens is, um, if you are doing work in a certain area that is not up and growing field. So if you look at postdocs, right, postdocs usually work on a project, and these projects are funded by some agency, whether DOE or DOD or whatever, right? And most of the projects you will find are in the technology that is up and coming, not that already, not the technology that has been, been there forever. In that sense, I'm saying. So
Yeah.
just make your own evaluation on that particular aspect. Because I had a similar problem, because my PhD, I would say, was not like in the area of which was up and coming. I did something very classical. So there's a way to circumvent around that, I would say, is, let's say, if you have done your PhD in nuclear engineering, but the tools that you have used or the knowledge that you have used can be applied in some other field, you can always apply to those fields. So my advice for you would be is don't stuck with nuclear, move out, branch out,
Yeah.
because this is the
Okay.
time where you can branch out. Look, for example, I did my PhD in magnesium alloys, but then I branch out to thermal barrier coatings. Very different,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
was still be able to use the knowledge that I had, and able to understand things. So that is the reason I'm telling you is branch out to new areas. Just don't stuck yourself in saying that, okay, since my PhD was in nuclear materials or nuclear engineering, this is what I will do. I would say a metallurgy is a very open field. You can, if your knowledge is about making new alloys, you can do it in any field. You know what I mean? That could be applied to
Yeah.
aerospace or anything. So just be aware of that. Just
Okay.
I have sent you nuclear, link to nuclear, but I would say if there is a requirement of a postdoc that they are looking to develop high temperature alloys, do that. So it should not stop you.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'm saying so. Always try to branch out, because that also help you to broaden your scope.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
sometimes what happens, being an international student and all that, nuclear departments are not very conducive to international students. That happens quite a lot.
Hmm.
Even actually, to be
Okay.
honest with you, you will find in US sometimes professors, they have this compulsion that they cannot hire international students, so they have to have domestic, US citizens in those areas. So just
Okay.
these are certain things that can bother you if you try to apply
Yeah.
to US. But as I said, branch it out, and then
Okay.
you can always write in your CV or in your cover letter that these are your skill set that can be applied to different areas. So if a professor is or if a scientist is looking for a postdoc in making new aluminum cast alloys, as an example, I'm telling you, I think
Yeah.
your knowledge is equally applied. So go after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I'm actually also open of. It's not like I just want to go to nuclear. I'm open to anything which is
No,
related to metals
no.
alloys.
Yeah, yeah. I know you are open to that, but what I'm saying is, first of all, if look for those opportunities, and when you send your CV or cover letter, make sure it should come out that way too.
Okay.
Make sure you write
Yeah.
down those things there, that the reason you're applying to this position, although your PhD is in nuclear engineering, but the knowledge you have achieved or the skill set you have are equally applicable. And what courses you have taken can are will help around to solve this problem, and whatever.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. So make sure you say those things, and write those things. Um, yeah. So as I said, finding a postdoc in US would not be a problem. But again, the only thing that will happen is that professor or that place has to apply for your visa, which is okay. I mean, they apply that all the time. But the
Yeah.
but the actually the problem comes later on is, if you are able to get a green card or something, then it's okay. But if you're not able to get it, then you have to go back. That
Yeah.
problem happens. But again, you may come out as a really good student whose application is very really good application for an assistant professor. So you can become an assistant professor or things like that. That's also a possibility, because many
Okay.
students. Actually, one of my friend, actually, he did his PhD from Australia, and he's a professor here now. So many that also happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep that all these things in mind. That but getting an industry job may be difficult. But again, you may, because you need a visa for that. That's all I'm thinking. So you have to get a green card before you get there. But getting a job as an assistant professor or something is not difficult. There will be no hurdle in terms of that. Yeah. But this is one of the my
Yeah.
advice to you. As far,
So I mean,
go ahead.
yeah. No, no. Just go ahead. Sorry. You had some advice or?
No. I was saying this was my advice to you for US in particular. But I would still prefer, if I was you, try to look for jobs in Netherlands and look around Europe and so, because you're accustomed to that whole system. Coming to US would be very new to
Yeah,
you. But again, if you get a good opportunity in Oak Ridge or any national lab, not bad actually.
yeah,
But
okay,
one of the thing I always tell in my videos to students, postdocs usually are, if you are applying for a postdoc by yourself, the chances for you to get that job is very, very small. You should
yeah,
have a backup. Although when I applied for postdocs, I didn't get any help from my advisor. But I
yeah,
know if you have a backup of your advisor, your chances are extremely high. So let's say if your advisor
yeah,
knows that professor and he has a postdoc opening, it's almost certain that you will get the job.
yeah. So in my case, my advisors are very supportive. So I, when I, so I asked them also when I asked them about recommendation letters or something, they are very
Yeah,
supportive. They're
right. No,
quite
no. What
open
I'm
about.
telling you is, you should ask them like, do you know the people in US in these areas, and who are those people? Especially
Okay,
as I told you, they might know someone at Oak Ridge National Lab, and if they know, that will be very helpful. Trust me, it's very helpful.
okay, okay,
Because then you can send an email saying that you came to know about you through my advisor, and he asked me to contact you. That language helps a lot, rather than you
okay.
saying, hey, my name is this and I'm interested. I mean, they get so many emails.
Yeah,
And you can look
yeah,
at the link I send it to you. There are so many postdoc positions, and trust me, people apply from all over the world, so not only just
yeah.
from US. Yeah.
Okay. So parallelly, I've been searching this for quite some time. So I also started applying for jobs in the Netherlands,
No,
and
you have
so
to do that. I mean, you have to have plan A, B, C, right? So plan A would be your applying, looking for jobs in Netherlands, and I don't know what the situation there. I can't comment on that because I don't live. But in US, I think the market is getting better. It's opening up. There are jobs now, and there are jobs in
okay,
a lot of fields. But doing a postdoc is not a bad idea. I did that, and it helps.
yeah,
As I said,
because I really and
I mean, as I said, you
yeah,
might be lucky finding a postdoc in some good national lab. It's very rewarding.
okay. Because the thing is that I really enjoy doing research and writing papers. So just writing papers is something which I enjoy a lot. So that entire process. So for me, it's very rewarding when I write a paper and it goes through. So I really enjoy that process.
Yeah. No. I'm glad to hear that. That's a good thing if you enjoy that. But as I said, your career is not just about writing papers, right? You need a job and you need
Yeah,
a money. So just
yeah,
keep that in mind. You want to
yeah,
be, you want to be, you don't want to be a Sudama. You want to be Krishna.
yeah. That's true.
That's the same thing. So
Yeah,
make sure that you are doing the right thing. Because you will find a lot of people who just keep writing papers, and they have so many papers, and since they didn't do the right thing at the right time, it's of no use.
okay.
Your papers are only helpful to you is if you are at that level, at that career level. So make sure you are equally making smart decisions.
Okay. Yeah,
Writing papers won't help you to pay for your food.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, as I also saw that in the longer run that I had this goal of, I mean, to work with, which you clearly told that it's better to directly apply to national labs for a postdoc. So then,
I think the field, I just what I'm thinking is like the field you are in, and the skill set you have, it could be you may be able to find something in national lab as a postdoc or something. And
okay,
I'm pretty sure you should be able to find, there's a lot of work going on in US, I know for sure, that you may be able to find, but all you have to do is a little bit more aggressive and looking for. I mean, this is your area, your field, right? You must know people who are in this areas. But as I
yeah,
told you, is look for websites, and there's this website. I mean, I can send you this website. .org or something, but this website,
Yeah.
Google it. But this website is very helpful. If you go to a job board, the professors actually post their postdoc position in this website.
Okay.
Quite a lot, yeah. This will be very helpful to you because one of my postdocs I got from this website actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
a good website for US. People post there. I mean, some in Europe also people post actually jobs.
that is quite helpful. Then actually, I'll look through that also.
Yeah, because there is no dedicated website for postdoc, right, where you can look for postdoc jobs and all. But I think these website will help you. These.
Yeah, up till now, my strategy was to just cold email professors who
No,
were
no.
like
I mean, I know you see, you have to do cold emails, but what I'm saying is the email will not be cold if you give them some sort of a reference. As I
yeah.
said, make sure write it down. If I would, if I was you, I will have some good talk with my advisor and say, hey, since I'm applying for a postdoc, do you have a list of people who work in Oak Ridge National Lab or Idaho National Lab or University of Michigan Nuclear Engineering Department or Colorado School of Mines Metallurgy and Metallurgical Engineering, because these are top schools in these areas. And if you do, could you let me know that I can send them email saying that I have spoken to my advisor and give your reference to begin with. So, that will not be a cold call, cold email in this.
Okay.
Because, cold emails never work. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is clear. Yeah. But in terms of the research, what is the difference? I mean, I don't know if you see there is any difference between how the research work is in US and as compared to the Europe.
I mean, I don't know about Europe, but US, if you become a postdoc, the you will find that people don't like to micromanage. They want you to, work on your own. Actually, even
Okay.
PhDs are like that. You have to work on your own. There is no micromanagement. There might be some professor who like to micromanage, but overall, I will tell you that you should come as independent, doing your thing, producing result, supervising students and so forth. So it's very in good instance because this is what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then have fun. So.
Yeah. Okay. And so you said that Colorado School of Mines, University of Michigan. So, and then Idaho National Lab and Oak Ridge National Lab. So these are the
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because as I said, in my opinion, you should branch out, right? Because you are a metallurgist. Whenever you write an email, make sure you say that you are not a nuclear engineer or something, but you are more like a metallurgist who can branch out and solve problems, different areas and so forth. That's what I meant. So you can Google then where are the metallurgy departments in US, right? Top schools, and you will find I mean, pure metallurgy is playing a very important role in US, especially the alloy composition. There are companies also who are working in these areas, especially on high temperature materials. That's what I said to you. I did my postdoc at Oak Ridge called advanced materials under high temperature alloy group. So you will find a lot of people who are working on and have projects in those areas, and they always need postdocs in Oak Ridge and Idaho National Lab and all that. I think you might have a good chance, to be honest with you, if you play it right and you do your research and do your thing. Look at the link and identify what topics interest you. What are those, and then send an email out. It may work out.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, if you apply to nuclear engineering department as a postdoc, and if they have a proposed project there, that could be an issue because of since you are not a US citizen. That's the reason I'm saying. It may be. I don't know, but it may be.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So most of the questions that I had were actually answered in me. So the two main questions that I had was, I mean, how to approach it in US, and then
Yeah.
so
I said,
that was
I told you cold emails will not work. You need a reference of your advisor or something. I was lucky in that sense, but I would say now, you know, in your case or in general, I'm saying is you need that. You need to apply with some sort of a reference. Or as I said, if your advisor knows actually someone is looking for a postdoc, that's even better. Whether it's in Germany or anywhere. And in your case, yeah. And as you said, identify these places who are hub of nuclear materials, high temperature materials, metallurgy, in the regime, make it broader, and then start applying. Send an email and start applying. And you can just write an email initially saying that, hey, I'm looking for a postdoc, and I came to know you through my advisor. That's how do it. So you should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep a note of this and then approach them the way you mentioned. So I'll also have a talk with my advisor on this.
Right. And as I said, also one of the things that I told you with the postdoc, the problem is because postdoc is very subjective, right? It's not like a assistant professor where there is a committee and people make a decision. This is like a personal basis. A professor can make a decision in his head at the right of it. So that's the reason I told you is like the personal, the more personal your email is, the better it is. And the more you know that person, the better it is. And that's how it's going to work most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Varun, good talking to you, and I hope everything works out. And I think I like your CV, to be honest with you. I think you have done good work. You came out as a very sincere student. And if I find something that I know, I will send you an email.
Sure.
And keep in touch. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just update you how it goes with me.
Yeah. I'll keep in touch. As I said, this is the process that every PhD student has to go through. I have gone through this. Very frustrating, but this is a part of it. But play it right. Okay. I think you should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Amit. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.